This is Mr.NightScaring, the home of true horror stories, terrifying encounters, and nightmares you won't forget. Subscribe and turn on the bell icon if you dare. Join me as I dive into some true horror stories that are sure to give us both chills. Let's see if I can handle them without getting too freaked out. True horror stories have always fascinated and terrified us, tapping into our deep-seated fears of the unknown and the unexplained. There's something about knowing that these stories are based on real events, real people, and real places that makes them so much more unsettling than fiction. When we think about real-life horror stories, common fears start to emerge. We fear the darkness that lurks in every corner, the uncertainty of what's lurking in the shadows. We fear being vulnerable, being powerless, and being at the mercy of forces beyond our control. We fear the idea that the evil that exists in this world is so much closer than we think, and that it can strike at any moment. And of course, we fear death itself, the ultimate horror that awaits us all. These fears are primal, visceral, and deeply ingrained in our psyche. They're the things that keep us up at night, that make us jump at every creak and groan, and that make us question our own mortality. They're the things that make true horror stories so compelling, so terrifying, and so unforgettable. When we hear a true horror story, our minds start racing, trying to make sense of the senseless, trying to comprehend the incomprehensible. We ask ourselves questions like, how could this have happened? Or, what would I have done if I were in their shoes? We try to process the emotions, the fear, the anxiety, and the sheer terror that the victims must have felt. And in doing so, we're forced to confront our own mortality, our own fears, and our own vulnerabilities. Let's dive into some of these stories that will send chills down your spine. In the 1940s, a woman named Doris Bither reported being terrorized by a malevolent spirit in her California home. The entity, which she claimed was a tall, dark figure with glowing eyes, would often attack her, leaving her with severe bruises and injuries. The strange thing was that multiple people witnessed the attacks, including her children and friends. What's even more bizarre is that the police found no evidence of forced entry or any signs of struggle, leading them to suspect that Doris was either lying or hallucinating. But here's the thing. Multiple audio recordings captured the sound of furniture being moved, doors slamming shut, and unexplained voices whispering in the background. The recordings are still widely available today, and they're guaranteed to send chills down your spine. What's even more terrifying is that the entity seemed to be intelligent, adapting to Doris's behavior and even communicating with her in a twisted, sadistic way. Another story that'll make your skin crawl is that of the Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, 9 Russian hikers embarked on an expedition to the Ural Mountains, but they never returned. Their bodies were found weeks later, showing signs of extreme trauma, including broken bones, internal injuries, and strange, unexplained markings on their skin. The weirdest part is that their clothes were found to be radioactive, leading investigators to suspect that the group had stumbled upon some kind of military experiment gone wrong. The odd thing is that the investigation turned up no evidence of another human being present at the campsite, leading many to speculate that the hikers had encountered something supernatural or paranormal. Theories range from Yeti attacks to UFO sightings, but one thing is certain, whatever happened on that mountain was truly horrific, and it'll haunt your dreams for weeks to come. But there's one story that takes the cake in terms of sheer terror and unpredictability. In the 1970s, a family in Enfield, London, reported being haunted by a malevolent spirit that would often possess the body of their 12-year-old daughter, Margaret. The entity, which claimed to be the spirit of a former resident named Bill Wilkins, would often speak through Margaret, using a deep, guttural voice to taunt and threaten the family. The most shocking part is that the entity would often produce physical evidence of its presence, including furniture being moved, objects being thrown, and even attacks on the family members themselves. What's even more astonishing is that the haunting was witnessed by multiple people, including police officers, journalists, and even paranormal investigators. The audio recordings of the events are still widely available today, and they're guaranteed to send chills down your spine. But what's even more terrifying is the fact that the entities seem to be getting stronger, more aggressive, and more malevolent by the day, leading the family to flee their home in pure terror. The twist in this story is that despite the overwhelming evidence, many experts believe that Margaret was faking the possession, using her acting skills to create the illusion of a supernatural entity. But here's the thing, even if that's true, it doesn't explain the physical evidence, the audio recordings, or the sheer terror that the family experienced. Whatever happened in that house was real, and it'll haunt your dreams for weeks to come. True horror stories have a way of getting under our skin, making us question what we thought we knew about the world and ourselves. They remind us that no matter how hard we try to rationalize the irrational, the unknown will always be out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. And, in the end, that's what makes them so terrifying, so unforgettable, and so eternally fascinating. If you've got a horror story that'll send chills down my spine, hit me up in the comments below. And if you want more spine-chilling content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll be diving into more true horror stories in the coming weeks, and I wouldn't want you to miss them. Have you ever wondered what lurks in the shadows, waiting for you? True, scary horror stories. Real-life encounters that will chill you to your core. These are not just stories, they're experiences that will leave you questioning what's real. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you can join me when the terror strikes. Welcome to Mr.NightScaring, where the real nightmares begin.